In this video, we are looking at 3 different methods to factor a quadratic trinomial with the leading coefficient different from 1. We're going to use this example. This polynomial is a quadratic trinomial. Leading coefficient is 6, is different from 1. The 3 methods are method 1, AC method, method 2, slide divide slide method, method 3, bow tie method. Let's look at the first method. AC method. We have this quadratic trinomial, 6x squared minus 13x plus 6. We identify leading coefficient A is 6, B is negative 13, C is 6. AC method start from computing the value for A times C. AC method, so we need to find the A multiplied by C. In this case, A is 6, C is 6. 6 times 6 is 36. Then we are going to find two integers. Satisfy the following two conditions. Condition 1, the two numbers need to multiply to A times C. In this case, is 36, right? Condition 2, the two numbers need to add up to B. It's negative 13 in this case. We identify A times C, 36. Value for B is negative 13. So we need to find the two integers whose product is A times C, 36, whose sum is B, negative 13. So we determine the sign for the two integers first. Determine the signs first. Two integers multiply to a positive number means they have the same sign. They do not have opposite sign. If they have opposite sign, then the product would be negative. The addition of the two numbers is negative, means the two numbers has to be both negative. So we know the two numbers we are going to look for, both of them are negative. And we look at the 36, factor 36. We have the following possibility. We are writing 36 as multiplication of two factors. We have 1 times 36, 2 times 18, 3 times 12, 4 times 9, 6 times 6. You can see those are all the possibilities. 5 doesn't work, 7 doesn't work, and so on. You can go from 1 all the way to 36. Those are all the possibilities. We know both of the two numbers are negative. Negative 1, negative 36 do not add up to negative 13, so this one doesn't work. Negative 2, negative 18 do not add up to negative 13 either. Negative 3, negative 12 add up to negative 15, so this one, no. Negative 4, negative 9. Their addition is negative 13, so the two numbers are negative 4 and negative 9. Here, how do we use the two integers that we just found? We are going to use the two integers to rewrite the middle term in the original trinomial. The middle term in the original trinomial, negative 13x. We are going to write the original trinomial as copy the leading term, 6x squared. Rewrite the middle term as negative 4x minus 9x copy the constant term 6. That's what we do. So let me say it again. So how do we use the two numbers we just found, -4 and -9? In AC method, we use the two numbers to rewrite the middle term. The middle term is -13x. We're going to write that term as -4x plus -9x. They are the same anyway, right? So the original trinomial is written as a polynomial containing 4 terms right now. When we need to factor a polynomial with the 4 terms, what method should we apply? We have learned a method to factor a polynomial with 4 terms is factoring by grouping. The method is factoring by grouping. And I remind you, we can always group the first 2 terms and the last 2 terms together. Most of the time, it always works. So we are going to put the first 2 terms together, 6x squared minus 4x. First two terms, group 1. The last 2 terms, term 3 and term 4, is going to be the term, group 2. That is -9x plus 6. Be careful with the sign. We can color them. We can color the first group yellow, the second group pink. For the yellow group, we have 2 terms. The GCF of the 2 terms, 6 and 4, GCF is 2. X squared x, GCF is x. So the 2 terms in the yellow group, the GCF is 2x. We factor 2x out. The leftover factor inside the parentheses becomes 3x minus 2. If you are not certain, you can distribute. If you have the original yellow group, then you are fine. 2x times 3x, 6x squared. 2x times -2, -4x, so we are fine with that. The pink group has 2 terms, -9x and +6. You know, if you are familiar with factoring by grouping, you know that we want to factor a quantity from the pink group such that the parentheses would have a binomial that is exactly with the binomial inside the first parenthesis, right? So we want the second group, the pink group, after we factor out the GCF, we want the same binomial inside the parentheses. We want a 3x minus 2 inside the parentheses. Then which number should we factor out? The GCF for 9x and 6 is 3. But instead of factoring out 3, we are going to factor out -3. Sometimes we factor out GCF. Sometimes we factor out the opposite of GCF. In this case, for the pink group, we factor out the opposite of GCF, -3. We can double check. -3 times 3x, -9x. -3 times -2, +6. So it's correct. The 2 groups, the yellow group and the pink group, now they have common binomial factor. They have common binomial factor. And we are going to factor out the common binomial factor in green, this 3x minus 2. We're going to factor that out. And inside the parentheses, we have the leftover factor from yellow group and a leftover factor from the pink group. So that would be 2x from the yellow group, -3 from the pink group. So the completed factorization of the original trinomial is 3x minus 2 times 2x minus 3. the original trinomial, quadratic trinomial, is factored as the product of two linear binomials. One is 3x minus 2, the other is 2x minus 3. If you have extra time, you want to make sure your result is correct, what you can do is to FOIL. You FOIL the product. If you have the original polynomial, then your result is correct. Let's see how many minutes. Yeah, we can time this method to see how many minutes it takes you to complete the solution. That's the first method. Second method is the one we already learned from the class. It's called slide divide slide method, right? 6x squared minus 13x plus 6. We identify A, B, C. We know A here, the 6 is different from 1. So we are going to slide. The leading coefficient to be with the constant term to create a new polynomial. The new polynomial, I'm going to write it in blue. The new polynomial is x squared minus 13x plus 36. So the leading coefficient is 1 because 6 is moved away, is slided away. So no number in front of x squared. The coefficient of x squared is 1. Copy the middle term, negative 13x. The constant becomes 6 times 6, which is 36. And we are going to factor this blue quadratic trinomial. The method we're going to apply is shortcut method. Shortcut method. For shortcut method, we need to find two integers. Satisfy the following two conditions. Number one, they multiply to 36. They add up to negative 13. Determine the sign first. We actually have this part repeated. Determine the sign first. We know the two numbers must be both negative. Otherwise, if they are both positive, then the addition would be positive. But we want the two integers add up to negative 13. So they can't be both positive. They cannot be one positive with the other negative either because the product is positive. The multiplication of the two numbers be positive means the two numbers must have the same sign. So they are both negative. Which two negative number? We factor 36. We have the following possibilities to factor 36. We start from 1 times 36, and then try 2 times 18, and then try 3 times 12, and then try 4 times 9, and then try 5 doesn't work, and then try 6 times 6, 7 doesn't work, 8 doesn't work, 9, we have 9 already, 11 doesn't work, 10 doesn't work, 11 doesn't work, 12, we have 12 already, and so on and so on. So you can see all the possibilities is right here. And the two numbers need to be both negative, and only this case, negative 4 and negative 9 satisfy the two conditions. Negative 4, negative 9. They multiply to positive 36. They add up to negative 13. So the blue quadratic trinomial can be factored as x plus the first number, negative 4, times x plus the second number, negative 9. That's slide. Remember, we have 3 steps for this method. For applying this method, divide. We are going to divide the two numbers in red by the original leading coefficient. The original leading coefficient is 6, so we divide by 6, divide by 6. Soon after we divide, we have to simplify or reduce. Let's see what do we have after we reduce the two fractions. Negative 4 over 6 reduced as a negative 2/3. Negative 9 over 6 reduced to negative 3 over 2. The second slide, the third step, once we reduce the division, the fractions, if we still have denominators, like this one we have denominator 3, this one we have denominator 2, we're going to slide the back in front of x. 3 is slided in front of x, so the x has a coefficient 3. 3x minus 2 times the 2 is slided in front of x, so 2x minus 3. That's the result. You can tell the result is the same with the first method, right? This is second method. Second method, method 2. Method 2, slide divide slide method. Method 3. It's very fast. It's a very fast way to factor a quadratic trinomial with a leading coefficient different from 1. We still use the same problem. It's called a bow tie method. What does a bow tie look like? It looks like this, right? I named this method as a bow tie method. So leading coefficient is 6. Constant term is 6. We're going to play with all the 3 numbers. The middle term coefficient is negative 13. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to find the 2 numbers. They multiply to the green leading coefficient 6. We can try 1 and 6. We can try 2 and 3. Or 3 times 2, or negative 2, negative 3. So this time I try positive 2, positive 3. So this is the first step. Find the 2 numbers. Their product is leading coefficient. And put them vertically like this. Second step, find the 2 numbers. Their product is the constant term. The constant term here is 6. That is a coincident. It is a coincident. Sometimes the A and C don't have to be the same. In this case, they are the same. So you can write negative 1, negative 6 here. You can write negative 6, negative 1 here. Or positive 6, positive 1. Or 2, 3, or 3, 2. I'm going to write negative 3, negative 2. Negative 3, negative 2 multiplied to positive 6, such that when we multiply the 2 numbers on the diagonal, on this diagonal, 3 times negative 3, we have negative 9. The other diagonal, 2 and negative 2, we have negative 4. And add them up, we have negative 13. So this is the bow tie method. You find 4 numbers. The 2 on the left multiply to leading coefficient. The 2 numbers on the right multiply to the constant. And once you cross, you multiply the 2 numbers in the diagonals and add them up, you have the coefficient of the middle term. So when you choose the 4 numbers, you need to have the goal in your head. Okay, so do you see a bow tie here? This is a bow tie, right? So this is a bow tie. And you can write the result from the bow tie. Cut the bow tie in half this way. The 2 numbers on the top gonna give you the first factor. 2 times x minus 3. The 2 numbers on the bottom gonna give you the second factor. 3x. You can see x right here is the knot of the bow tie. 3 times x minus 2. This method is very fast, but grasping this method requires you to have a very good feelings about numbers. My experience tell me not many students could master this method. AC method is good, but it's slow. So I would recommend the slide divide slide method. You can look at this video and to look at how long do we spend on each method. The last method is the fastest method. AC method is the slowest method. Slide divide slide method is in the middle. And please let me know which method do you prefer. There's no right or wrong. Whichever method you feel comfortable and you are able to handle it well is the best method to you. Everybody is different. So maybe you like this method better. Thank you for watching.